Bret Beherns, thanks so much for joining ciSports to just reflect on your time of covering Illinois sports and athletics for 11 years. Does it feel that long?
In one ways, it does not. In other ways, it does feel like a long time. It's kind of both. I've had a ton of fun my last 11 years here. And as I get ready to depart, to try something new and do something new, it's fun to kind of reflect and think back of all the good. There has been some bad in there too, or just mediocre at Illinois, but there's been a lot of good the last 3 to 4 years. It's been a ton of fun to cover.
What's one of your most favorite memories?
Just being in the community, covering Illinois, it means so much to so many people. And so it's been a privilege and a pleasure to be able to be on the sidelines, right? To be in the on the court, right, on the field for football, for volleyball, for all those types of things, and to see success, to see people that it works so hard every day to have success. That's a lot of fun for me. I always say I don't get paid to root for Illinois. That's not my job. But my job's way more fun when Illinois is good. And so that's been really rewarding the last couple of years, especially with men's basketball, because it has been good. And so that's been fun to see because I grew up in Mahomet in central Illinois. And so I was a senior in high school in 2004, 2005 when they went to the Final Four. And so I saw that as a fan, and then being able to cover a team that wins Big Ten championships has been a lot of fun and rewarding for me. And like I said, it's not my job to root for them. I just root for a great story. Well, it just happens to be that when they're winning, there's better stories to tell, and so that's been fun.
Yes. Assuming that you won't have any bias in this question, who has the best Big Ten arena?
So we're talking basketball?
In your opinion.
Okay,
basketball.
So yeah, basketball is, and this is not going to sit well with a lot of Illini fans. I think Mackey Arena at Purdue is the best. It's the loudest. It's a great environment. It is so loud in there. Assembly Hall at Indiana, another Indiana school, which is not going to be well there with a lot of Illini fans, all right? That is such a unique environment. I think that's towards the top up there as well. Really like Breslin Center at Michigan State. Nebraska has a great arena, and they're on the rise, a program that's been better, so that's been good when I've been there. But State Farm Center is up there as well, and I've been all over. I think I've been to almost every basketball arena in the Big Ten minus Rutgers, have not been to the RAC, and so I've seen a lot of them. And State Farm Center is definitely top 5 up there for me.
What has been your most favorite remote location that you've gotten to work from?
Oh, that's easy, Caridia. That's Hawaii, without a doubt. I went to the Maui Invite in 2018. That was a ton of fun. Did live reports from the beach, live reports, from the arena there in Maui. Was unbelievable. And Illinois wasn't very good that year. Listen, that week I did not care because I was on the beach, got to take my family with me. An incredible week to be working and to get paid to be in Hawaii. Does not get any better than that. But I've been a lot of places and I've done a lot of things, and really fortunate that we've been able to, like I said, travel and see a lot of fun things.
Well, you're putting us in like paradise. Tell us some of the most challenging parts of the job that you've experienced within your 11 years.
Sure. Deadlines are always challenging, right? You're trying to figure out when can I get this content done? How can I get it done in the small amount of time that I have? That's certainly a big part of our job, and that's just part of working in media, and that's okay. So those never end. I would say the challenging part about it too is staying relevant in a new world. Not everyone just sits down and watches the news at 6 or 10 every night or 5 o'clock. And so you have to find ways to be in the digital space and be creative in that. That's been a challenge. It's also been really rewarding because of our podcasts that we've done, because of our pregame show and postgame streams of press conferences. All of those things, more than 1 million views last season alone, has been awesome. That's really rewarding because that shows me that people are hungry for content. How we gather that content is certainly different than it was 5, 10, certainly 25 years ago. But finding a niche in that digital space has been really rewarding for me. And to connect with the Illini fans has been fun in those spaces outside of just quote unquote what we're doing right now, talking on television.
Yes, you spoke on the digital realm and like how that has changed. How else have you seen like the sports industry change over your like decade plus one? And if you count your time in Southern Illinois, what, 14, 15 years?
Yeah, it's been fun, and it's been very much a change from when we started then. And so the capability to go live has been the biggest thing, I think, for us through what we call TVUs. It's just using the cell phone signals to go live anywhere in the country. So when I was in Hawaii, I had this little backpack about this big that it can take on the plane with me, plug it into my camera, use cell phone signal to go live and appear on television. And that's been the biggest change for me and for us and what we've been able to do. And so all those travels, taking our viewers to the places that Illinois is playing has been really, really cool and rewarding. And, you know, maybe a little bit jealous if you're watching us in Florida for the ReliaQuest Bowl a couple of years ago when I was there for a week, or Hawaii, or wherever else we may be. We want to take our viewers to the sidelines, to the court, to wherever we're at, to show them, hey, look, this is where they're at. We're going to be here. We're going to have all the best coverage for you.
What people don't see are things like you getting to go to these wonderful places, and luckily your family got to go to Hawaii, but sometimes you're leaving behind your family, and not only that, but you're carrying luggage and things like that. You're here, like sometimes I'll come in and it's midnight and you're here and I'm what are you doing here? What are some things that people don't get to see behind the work that you do? Yeah, so that's the fun part about it. And sometimes the not fun part about it is, like I said, there's always the deadline because there's always another newscast. There's always the carrying the bags and the camera gear and then your own luggage and all that kind of stuff through the airports. That's fun too, right? And going into cars or whatever else. You know, it's the work behind the scenes that really, I feel like, separates us for what we do, because yes, you can throw something together on air, but in local TV, it's more about when something goes wrong, not if something goes wrong. And so if you have a plan in place, which I take a lot of pride in putting plans together for Friday Football Fever on Friday nights, or Full Court Friday, or whatever project we're working on, it's not just Illinois, putting a plan in place that's solidified well before it's time to talk on television. That has allowed us to really, I feel like, have success, and that's been fun. But yeah, there's a lot that goes into it behind the scenes that just in the 3 minutes that we're on sports, you don't see, and that's true in a lot of professions, right? A lot of places and a lot of lines of work, yeah, you have to travel or you have to go do different things, and I'm just a big believer that if you have a plan in place, you're gonna be so much better when the time comes to go out there and do whatever you need to do. And that's the quality of a great leader. You've been a great leader here for WCIA Sports Department. Who do you lean on for leadership? Yeah, so ultimately, number one, I feel like my relationship with Christ leads me in where I want to go and what I'm doing. And that's the framework of what I do every day. But being a leader, in my eyes, is all about I never ask my teammates to do anything that I wouldn't do or have not done. And I want to walk alongside with them in whatever we're doing. And just that framework of teamwork is where I have really found success in my team. And look, we've had some great people come through here. And they're never here quite long enough, right? My story is a little bit different than most. The fact that I've been able to be here 11 years and working at the station I grew up watching, it means a lot to me to be able to be here. We've had a lot of people in sports come through, and they've gone on to do bigger and better things. And so I'm really proud of those people as well. But that leadership is a big part of my work and my success, and ultimately the success of WCIA3 Sports, which I'm really proud of. Yes. What would you say contributed to the longevity of your stint here as a sports director at WCIA? For me, it was because this is home. And so the fact that I got to cover the team that I grew up watching, working at the station that I grew up watching, it's more than just a work, right? I say it's a lifestyle. To be successful in a lot of industry, you have to be able, or are you willing to make it a lifestyle? That's my question to myself. And so, yeah, when breaking news happens at 8 a.m. and I didn't get off work until after midnight, well, I'm up and ready to go. Or all of those things that quote unquote might factor into a lifestyle, not just a job. News never stops, and so just because it's 5 o'clock doesn't mean that the working day is always done. And so that's led to some success for our department as well. But it's more meaningful than just a job, right? It's a career. It's something that I've been really passionate about, and I hope that shows on television. I hope people have been able to say, like, hey, that guy really looks like he's enjoying his job, because the secret is I have. It's been a lot of fun. Well, I was Facebook stalking you. Your post was like, honestly, what I needed, just reflecting on your time here and your motivations for even sharing the news on Facebook. And I was reading the comments, and a lot of people express feeling, they use the word devastating a lot. What
I
would
don't know
you
about that. But,
No, they said it, not me. What would you say to encourage the people who may be feeling devastated with your transition from WCIA Sports, having seen you love and pour so much into Illinois athletics?
Yeah, so I mean, WCIA is not going anywhere, right? Just because I'm leaving, it's going to be okay. Like there's going to be someone else that comes in, and I hope that they do a great job and continue on what we've built here. And I've just done my best to continue on what was laid before me, right? Certainly and I've done my best to take things to a new level, to really pour a lot of love and commitment into this. But it's going to continue on. It's going to be great going forward. We got a great teamwork here in a framework of people with Courtney and with our new hire Tristan Thomas. He's going to come in and do a great job. He's also from the area, which is important. So I know that he's going to carry on and do really, really well. And so I'm going to be a big fan of WCIA going forward. When I watch, I'm going to know that I had a big part in that, and I'm going to be really proud of that going forward.
And this may be a rhetorical question, but what is your hopes for the future of WCIA Sports?
I hope that they can continue and carry on and do even better stuff than what we've done right now. I hope that they can raise the bar even more. You know what, Cordy, I've dreamed big here. I think that's the biggest thing that I can leave is that, like, hey, I have had some visions here. I had some plans. We've executed them. I've tried to operate this as a bigger feel market than what it is. And so, hey, look, just because we're in Champaign doesn't mean you can't do really big things. And so we've done that, and I'm super proud of that. I hope that they can do even bigger things, that whoever comes in to lead this department will dream big and make it even better than it is right now.
Speaking of big, what's a big interview that you've had that you still hold near and dear to your heart?
So one of the biggest things that I'm proud of that I leave here with is a 30-minute special we did on Lou Henson. So I grew up watching Lou Henson's teams, the legendary Illinois men's basketball coach. He had passed, and the fact that I got to do a 30-minute special on him and talk with his wife, Lou and Mary always told me they watched WCIA all the time. They would always compliment me, which meant a lot to me because I grew up watching Lou's teams. And so to do a documentary on his life and the legacy that he left, to talk with Mary shortly after Lou had passed was awesome. That's something that meant so much to me that I'm going to carry with me forever, because that was truly an honor to be able to share in his life with all of our viewers.
What do you hope the legacy is that you leave behind? Or what do you hope that your legacy will be as you transition from WCIA?
Sure, just somebody that came in, that cared a lot, that gave his best, and that made this place better. And that's what I leave with, Critty, is the fact that I feel like this place is better than when I started. And if you can leave a place better than when you started at that place, I think you're doing something right. And so for me, that's what I'm really excited about and I'm proud of at the end of the day.
So you spoke on your special on Lou Henson. Who's an athlete that you've been able to watch grow and watch their story unfold that has been very impactful for you to be a part of?
So I think I've had a lot of, and I don't think I know, there's been a real joy in watching athletes especially come and start at Illinois and then leave their legacy and impact. So Ayo Dosunmu stands out for me as a guy that stayed in state. He's the one that really started the transition for Illinois basketball. Was not in a good place when Brad Underwood took over in 2017. Brad got the commitment from Ayo, and look where they are now, right? In Elite Eight, one of the top 25 teams in the country. And so watching Ayo mature, come back for a third year, meant a lot to me, and I got to get to know Ayo very well and followed him and his family, and to see him now have success with the Bulls is really cool. There's been other football players as well that have come through, like a Joe Spencer or Ted Karras, those types of guys. Malcolm Hill has been really impactful for me. He's still trying to play in the NBA. He's on a summer league roster with the Pelicans. He's a great guy, and he also left a legacy here. So there's so many athletes that have come through, and you get to know these guys and these athletes and these women that come through, and they're trying their best out there. Whether they win or lose, you know, it impacts them. This has a big impact in their life, and so to get to know their stories, to share their stories, is a cool part about what I've gotten to do here, and it's also a lot of fun to share those.
What will you miss the most?
There's a lot of things I'm going to miss, don't get me wrong. Getting paid to be on the court at State Farm Center, you know, and on those moments when everyone else is paying to get in. I always say that, Critty, too, like I get paid to go to places that other people pay big money to go to, and I get the best seat in the house. I'm definitely going to miss that, all right? As crazy as it sounds, too, I'm going to miss Friday nights and the the absolute insanity of Friday football fever and trying to get all the scores in on Friday nights and knowing that people are watching at home and expecting a great product and the highlights and all that kind of comes together. It's such a rush to be able to do that and put on a great product. I'm definitely going to miss that. There's going to be other things that I'm not going to miss as much, right? But that's just part of any job. And so it's a mix of both, but it's all good.
Can you foresee yourself not working in sports?
I don't know. That's a question I'm trying to wrestle with right now because sports have been a huge part of my life. In 7th grade, I figured out this is exactly what I wanted to do, and I've been able to do it. And, you know, I've said for a long time that I'm living the dream, and I really have been. Like, this has been a big dream of mine to do what I'm doing. It's time for something new, and that's okay, but I'm going to miss that. If I don't work in sports, I have a fear I might be a little bit bored at work because I've gotten paid to wear makeup and talk about sports, which has been awesome, but it's going to be okay.
Hey, don't tell anyone that you wear makeup.
No,
that's supposed to be a secret.
It's just part of it, right? Yeah.
Yes. When did you realize, like, okay, my dreams are unfolding? Working with sports, you see people's dreams unfold time after time, whether it's the draft or getting that offer to a D1 college. When did you realize, like, hey, my dream is happening right before my eyes?
Yeah, so I mean, coming here in 2013 was great to get in the door here. I was the, you know, low person in the sports department, right? Like I was just the reporter and was able to work my way up. And so as I ascended up the ladder, quote unquote, to become sports director and take over the department, it all kind of happened pretty fast for me. And so in 6 months, I went from being the 3 in our department to the 1 and being the leader. And I was like, whoa, wow, I guess I'm in charge now, quote unquote. I don't know if I was comfortable with that yet back in late 2015, 2016, early there, but I took it over and just kind of ran with it since. And like I said, realizing that back then and now looking back, that's the part that's gone really fast in my eyes. Even through COVID, and let's never do that again, the craziness of all of that was, but just the fact of like, you know, I was able to experience those things and live those things. It all kind of puts it in perspective and you know, leaving really well.
Can you take us back to how crazy COVID was for the sports department here? What was it like?
Yeah, well, we had to figure out how to make content. I think that was the biggest thing is there was not a lot of sports going on. And so for us to try and, I don't want to say come up with content, because it's not like we were making up content. We just had to really dig deep and enterprise and reach out to people and try and tell their stories. I think the toughest part about it was really like 2 or 3 months in, because we were then running out of ideas and the same stories we were doing kind of over and over again, different people and different characters, but it was the same type of story, right? Well, we're not doing anything, we're just hanging out, we're training, whatever else, and so it got kind of monotonous there, but we made it through. We were able to push through and still find success through all of that, and you know, that was really rewarding to get through, but I never want to do that again. Like that was craziness to try and experience all that and go through all that.
Describe the person that would make the best fit for the sports director position moving forward. Like the ideal person, if you could describe them, how would you describe them? Yeah,
I mean, this position is definitely high achieving. You got to be a multitasker. You got to delegate a lot of different things. Got to lead people well. You got to be someone that's willing to make a lifestyle out of it, like we talked about, and be really invested to have success in this business, in this industry, in this position. And you got to love what you do, because if you don't love what you do, this thing is not for you. It's definitely a full encompassing lifestyle, quote unquote. And you know, at the end of the day, though, you get paid to talk about sports, and that's the best thing. And so, you know, you got to take some heat from some people sometimes, you know, some pressure, and make sure you get all the town names said right. And look, we do our best to say all the names right on TV. Sometimes that's not always possible, right? But like, hey, we're doing our best here, and being able to just encompass a lot of different things all at once and on deadlines makes it a lot of fun.
I'm assuming that sports may be one of them, but what are the top 4 things you are most passionate about?
So I love my family and I love what I do, and those 2 things are really, really key in that. And so for me, my family's been so supportive of me and allowing me to chase my dreams, right, and allowing me to do what I've done here, because it does take a big commitment. And so I'm super thankful for them and what they've allowed me to do. I love sports. Like, sports are not just like a job where I like turn it off. I am invested in sports all the time. I love watching sports. I love the sports reality. Like, as people ask me, like, do you watch reality TV? It's like, yeah, I watch sports. That's the best reality TV you're going to find because it's not scripted. Imagine that. And so those things are fun, right? I certainly have like hobbies and things that I do outside of work. But, you know, these things have, my family and work has been a big part of what I do. My kids obviously are a big part of that. I have 3 great kids. And, you know, and then when I'm not doing either one of those things, right, I love golf. So, like, that's a big part of my life, too, is playing golf. I'm fortunate enough to be able to do that and swing it all right.
Okay, so going back to your Facebook post, you said, "This is a leap of faith for me," referring to transitioning from WCIA sports department. "This is a leap of faith for me and my family. We're open to a lot of things, following God's guidance and voice." My question is, does God's voice sound clear to you in this season?
Yeah, season that it's time to do something new. I don't know what that is, and that's the exciting part. And for me, you know, so much of life is scripted a lot of the time. Well, look, we're taking a leap of faith. This is not scripted, have no idea what's next, but excited about what that might look like. And I believe that if you never take a step or even an inch of faith to do something new, then you're probably just going to do the things you've always done before. And so for us, this is exciting, and truly don't know. I've had a lot of people come up and say, so like, what are you really doing next? And I'm like, I don't know. Let's figure it out. Let's do something different, do something new, and excited about what that might be.
Yes, well, we 100% support you. A question that I ask all of my guests at the end is, who do you think I should interview next?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think next you should interview whoever they bring in as next sports director.
Oh, I love that idea.
To get a good sense, and you could probably help that person along with what sports is here at WCIA.
Great idea, Bret. Well, we will miss you, but we support you and wish you well on your future endeavors.
Thank you, Caridia.
Thank you.